for having given us the opportunity to get in your houses without knocking the door. It's what I'm used to saying. And we have to praise the Lord. I'm used to praising the Lord because He has given us the breath of the life without giving anything. You know, He's wonderful, a magnificent God. He's a rescue, redeemer, shepherd, and my shield. Without no more delaying, today we are going to speak about the impact of English. Does English has impact? You see? We are going to speak about impact of English in more details with Mr. Pacific Shole. Mr. Pacific Shole is here for a second time. But before having this topic introduced, I would like to let you know that English is the most spoken language in the world. And today, we are together with Mr. Pacific and one student. We should have had so many students, but unfortunately, you know, but I think next time it will be available. Mr. Pacific, how are you?
That's all right.
What news?
Nothing much. You know, what is important for us is to be alive, and we are alive, and we praise the Lord. And I think what is also important for us is to say thank you, God, for everything that you're doing in our life.
I'm overjoyed to see you here for a second time.
You know, this is my TV show, my preferred TV show. You know, when I come here in Up TV, I am very, very at ease, and I am posé, I am calm. I feel myself able to paraphrase everything, and I'm very happy.
I appreciate you speaking, Mr. Pacific. So let's reach the goal. What are basic elements of differences between British and American English?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. You know, when we're talking about English, it's very difficult to give the exact differences between British and American English. Yes. But today, we are going to try to give the summary, the etaffe of differences existing in between American and British English. I think the first difference is that there are some specific terms in British and American English that they are not usable in one another. And
Which
I can
one?
give you
Yes,
first
go ahead.
vox. When we talk about vox, we have, for example, barrister in British English. In American English, they simply say attorney. We have, for example, bill. We say check. We have boots. In American English, they say wood. We have bonnets. In American English, we have drugstore. For example, in British English, in American English, they say pharmacy. In British English, they say cinema. But in American English, they say movie. In British English, they say ground floor. In American English, they say first floor. And we don't say that Americans don't figure out, don't puzzle out.
Please, Mr. Pacific, without interrupting you, I've seen in the dictionary two stresses about television and television. You see? And theater. They write it, I mean, Americans are writing like French, theaters or theater. British, the inverse, are, okay, with E. Theater, theater, the same pronunciation. You see? Even Muslim and Muslim, you see? It was only for emphasizing on what you
exactly. I was coming, you know, because when we're talking about differences, it's not only in verbs, we have also differences in pronunciation, intonation, and stress. Much more on the stress, because in American English, for example, we say Congolese, but in British English, they say Congolese. In American English, they say cigarette. In British English, they say cigarette, as you have said.
Yes.
You know, it's very important for teachers to know all these differences so that they can be able to establish the difference between British and American English. You have, for example, in American English, where you have some people saying, I've got. I've got.
I've got.
No, in American English, they say, I've gotten.
Yes.
And in British English, they say, I've got. But there are some words that never change. The stress is the same. You have, for example, Chinese, you have Japanese, you have, for example, Brazil, you have Cameroon, you have Côte d'Ivoire in...
We have also Portuguese.
Yes, we have Portuguese. Some people, they say Portuguese. No, we say Portuguese.
Yeah.
We have words such as guitar, we have magazine, we have expertise, and there are so many words, you know. And when I learn how to establish the difference between British and American English, even myself, I'm on a hair. You know, I feel good because when you know how to make the difference between British and American English, you are going to speak a good standard English, and you're going to be able to understand Nigerian English, South African English, and Bajam.
So between both of them, between both, what can we choose?
You know, I like so much American English. I don't say that British English is not. No, British English is proper. I appreciate that, but I prefer American English because American English is easier than British English. American people, they try to facilitate people from French-speaking country to speak English by giving some grammatical structures easily understandable and some grammatical structures, for example, well developed that can help you. For example, in British English, the present perfect. British English in the present perfect, they say, I've seen Mr. June. But in American English, we can simply say, I saw Mr. June. And so in French can be translated or into simple past. But British English, you have to respect the present perfect. But in American English, you can say, I saw June. I heard June saying something. I met June, and so on. You know, English.
You know, I've seen also in present perfect tense for something has just happened, because we have for news, for experience, for something has just happened from the past until the present. From something has just happened, they say, I mean, they are used to saying you are going to give differences. I have just seen, but in America they say I just saw. I've seen it in the book.
Exactly.
I have just seen. I just saw.
Exactly, Mr. Mike. I'm talking about it. The present perfect is the basic element of the difference that exists between British and American English. In American English, to express what has just happened, they use simple past. I just saw Mike. I just heard lunch. But in British English, you have to
Not
use...
a mistake.
Yes,
Correct.
it's correct in American English. But in British, you have to respect that construction. You have to say, I've seen, I've heard, I've spoken. You see the difference. And this is very important for people to understand. When you don't happen to puzzle out that, you're going to complicate yourself, and it's very important. I think today, English, when we talk English, we talk American English and British English together. This is what we call standard English.
All right. What are main reasons that push people in French-speaking countries to learn English?
Yeah, French-speaking countries. These days, there are many people learning English in French-speaking countries. I think the first reason is understanding new technologies of information and communication. So there are many people today, they are much interested in what we call social networking. Social networking, we have Facebook, we have Bado, we have Twitter, we have High Five, we have LinkedIn. There are so many social networking, but the social networking are created by most of the time Americans. We're talking about Mark Zuckerberg is a computing programmer. I think to understand new technologies of information and communication, you have to have a certain mastery of English. Apart from that, second, people learn English in French-speaking countries because they want to get into the world of business. And business, you are going to meet different people from different countries, from the United States of America, from London, from France, and you know, when you know French and you know English, it permits you to have perspectives. You cannot look for an interpreter that can help you to translate what you'll be speaking. No, you are direct with people. You converse directly.
But for American people, they don't care about it. For them, it's English when they know in English.
Exactly. This is what is bad in American habit, Americanism. That's what we call Americanism, because we have Britishism and Americanism. In Britishism, they are open. They're open to the world. They say we can also learn, because there are many English people who speak French correctly. But Americans, they are stuck in themselves. They don't want to be open to the world. This is what is bad. In the new world, in the present world, what we have to do is to be open. You can speak a little of Japanese, you can speak a little of Chinese, you can speak a little of Portuguese, You can speak a little of English, French, and so on. These diversities will permit you to see the world in another world, you know. Because even myself, I dealt with communication at the university, the Free University of Kinshasa, and I think I could not speak English when I was in the first undergraduate. Today I do. I am Malaise. I am posé. Yeah.
You are à l'aise. You are posé.
I am Malaise. I speak, you know, I am of the school of flexibility. I like it when I speak Spanish. I like it when I speak Japanese. And, you know, I appreciate people who are bilingual. They speak 2 languages, 3 languages. And today, Mr. Mike, I'm very happy to be at OpTV.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, nowadays, English is presently considered as business. You see? We see many sons in Kinshasa. What is your impression?
Yeah, bad impression.
So
and
many
good impression.
sons in Kinshasa.
Bad impression and good impression. Bad impression because there are many people today, they open centers because they have learned English somewhere, they have been certified and so on. No. No. We don't teach English because we learned English somewhere. Everybody is not a teacher. We're going to talk about it, I think. And I think I don't consider English as a business. When you teach English, it's because you want people to master, to have a certain level in English language. And people today, they consider that opening a center, you cannot have a level, you know. For example, I went to a center, someone called me, he said, Mr. Pacific, I often watch you on TV, you can pass at my center. Arrived over there, I found the man saying English alphabet. No. The teacher himself saying English alphabet.
Instead of saying English alphabet.
English alphabet. When you don't have
Why
to say English
alphabet,
alphabet and you say English alphabet.
Mr. Pacific, please.
Mr.
Saying
Mike.
English alphabet, English alphabet. It's not wrong.
No, it's the same. You say, for example, you have a fufu. You cannot say fufu. No, you say fufu. No, you have to say fufu. And it's the same with English.
Yes.
In English, we say English alphabet. In English, we say adjectives, imperative, and so on. And when a teacher is unable to use these things, it means he has not to teach English.
Yes.
I am against that. Good impression because
that can be a crime against humanity.
Not humanity, but against the people who like languages. You know, people who learn languages, people who study languages. You know, and good impression because when young people learn English, I appreciate. I like it really. I find it as developing speaking abilities in different languages is one of the things which can develop this country.
All right. But Mr. Pacific, what is the influence of other languages in English? Can native dialect influence English? You see? Can native language or native language influence English?
Of course, yes. Many people today, they don't happen to speak English correctly because they are stuck to their native languages.
Yes.
Ketela, Mbunza, Yaka, and so on. No, when you speak English, you have to Americanize yourself.
So, Mr. Pacific, please, you know, I've seen on TV someone speaking English on TV, so I was observing sometimes I fold my arms like this, and after that I said, oh, this is Kianzi or what? But
Mr.
it's
Mike,
English.
exactly. This is the problem when you speak English. You know, you have to Americanize yourself. If you want, you have to become an English man. It means English is not Luba.
Yes.
Chiluba. English is not Congo. No. English should stay English. When you say good evening, good evening, then we don't understand anything. You know, when you speak English, you have to be.
Is it compulsory? Is it an obligation to have a good choice?
I think there are many people today that say no. The most important thing is to communicate. Communicate.
Right.
No. Communicating, of course, yes, but I am a communicologue. I know a language. This is what we call in communication the code. The code is the linguistic function, and it's very, very important for the message. When you speak with zigzagging, with jeopardizing, troubling people, people will not figure out. People will not understand the message. And most of the time, when I talk with teachers, when you are a teacher and you don't happen to hear words correctly, you know, I stop. I cannot keep on talking, you know, because I consider that you're a teacher. You should know everything.
But Mr.
It's
Pacific,
very important.
once you have a certain knowledge, you master, you have the mastery, but your intonation is a side, stress. You see, a side. What can you do? Can't you squeeze out what you have, even if you have a bad intonation?
No problem. I do not say that you
Yes.
cannot speak English if you don't master how to utter words
Yes.
and so on. No, you can say what you need, but what we need, this is the fight that we have today. Many professors at the university, up to UPN and so on, they don't want to talk with people, students from centers. Why? Just because they find that they speak a bizarre English, a terre-à-terre English, a very dispersed English.
Yes.
No, we have to respect. This is our fight at English schools of languages. We need students who are able to speak English respecting pronunciation, stress, and intonation. When you are not able to do that, it's very complicated. You can master grammatical structures, but when you don't happen to do it, it's very difficult, Mr. Mike.
Okay. Mr. Redi Mufumo, we need you here. But Mr. Pacific, let me tell our viewers that Mr. Pacific is not alone. Mr. Pacific has brought, is it correct, Mr. Pacific? Has brought the students.
Exactly.
Because you are speaking about the difference between American and British English.
Exactly.
Mr.
The up of the sentence.
Oh yes, has brought the students here. Okay, brother, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Oh yes, what news?
No news? Nothing special.
So tell people, where do you learn English?
So, I learn English at the Daddy Long Learn Center, DDLC.
You learned or you are learning?
I am learning.
You are
I
learning.
am a student there.
Oh, you're a student over there. But I need you to explain me something interesting. You explain me the present perfect tense, but don't give the definition, right? Give me the structure, I mean the construction, and you sustain the present perfect tense by one example. First of all, you start by the construction.
So, thank you so much for the floor. So,
Don't deceive your teacher, he's next to you.
yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
The construction was the present perfect tense is subject plus the auxiliary have or is in the third person plus the past participle plus the object. So I can give an example. For
Yes.
example, I have written something. I mean, I have written something
Yes,
to
I've
write.
written something,
Written
yes.
is the past participle of the verb to write. I have written something on the paper, for example. So this is an example or the present perfect tense.
Yes. Oh, yes. It was a good explanation as a teacher. Oh, so congratulations. But the second question is the near future. Sustain. The same as you've done with the present perfect tense. You give this the construction and you sustain your construction by one example. Near
Yeah.
future.
So I want to say that the near future is constructed with a verb to be.
Right.
So you take the subject.
Are you
plus-
sure of what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The subject plus be plus going to plus the object.
Example.
So to exemplify, I'm gonna say, I am going to buy a car. You see, I am going to buy a car.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that I'm moving out. I don't use the verb to go, but going to is to introduce the new future. I'm going to buy a car. So that is the
So
new
tell
future.
me, why do you want to learn English? Please, you are learning English, but why do you want to speak English, and the good one? Why?
So first of all, I'd like to say that English is a very important international language here on the world. For example, if you try to walk out across the world, you find that English is the most spoken around the world. So I don't say that it's the most spoken in the world because we have Chinese. If you try to speak in the countries of the number of the population, it's Chinese the most spoken. But around the world, if you try to count the number of the countries where people speak English, English is the most spoken around the world. So if you know how to speak English, it's like improving it's like improving your way of communicating with some other citizens. You can talk with an American or a British or someone who's from Nigeria or some other countries where they speak English.
Right.
So it's like you become more international than me.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
thank
you are posé like your teacher.
Yes, I'm okay.
Why
I'm
did you
okay.
choose only DDLC? Because there are so many centers.
So, first of all, when I try to see, to have a glance
Yes.
at Kinshasa centers, most of centers, they work just for business. They consider English as a business.
Please,
as a
without
way-
interrupting you, Mr. Jimmy Matiti, I see you call here. Send an SMS, it will be fine. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that other centers, they consider English just as a business, just as a way to earn their life. Or English is a language we have to show people how to speak a language, to show them how to utter correctly words.
Is it a good center?
Yes, it is a good center.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes, I studied there.
So let me tell you that DDLC is the best. It's a good center because I'm from there. You see, I'm the fruit of DDLC. I take the time of greeting Mr. June Manda, Mr. Shiko, and so forth. Okay? Mr. Pacific, what are strategies? What are strategies that can help students to speak proper English?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mike.
As a
You know,
teacher.
Yeah, as a teacher, as a Chumpara, you know, I know that many people today, when I'm talking about Chumpara, they think that being a teacher is simply being able to speak English. No, there are so many things. And I think the first thing is the teacher who teaches you, is he able to make you speak English? This is the first strategy. You cannot look for a center where you are not sure that the teacher is going to be able to give you what he has. First of all, you have to be sure that the teacher is going to transmit you what he has. And the second thing is the will. You got to have the will of learning English. There are many people today, they join centers, of course, yes, but themselves, inside themselves, they don't have the will of speaking English properly, correctly. This is a problem. And when you learn English, you have to consider that you don't only have the matters that the teacher gives you. No. But you have also to do research. I remember with my student of Ted Bevel, who is here present with us, we have discussed many topics, and we are discussing many topics. It can be concerning, I don't know, American and British English, about social networking and so on. And when we discuss, we have new elements, and I feel that my students, I urge them learn, go look for other things and bring good elements so that we can discuss together. It's very important. You have the will. Second, you do research. But the last thing to do is to have financial
The
means.
more you teach, the more you, as a teacher, the more you teach,
Yeah.
the more we make research.
Exactly. And in pedagogy, these days they are talking about interaction.
Yes.
It's not only transmission, no, but interaction. Why interaction? Because the teacher is not there to make students gulp, to make students swallow, to make students test, to make students eat. No, the teacher is there to interact with students. Interacting means having topics, discussing topics. As long as you discuss topics, you are going to give students the envy of learning, the envy of giving the best of themselves. I think the first thing to do is to have the will. The second thing to do is not to have only the matters that the teacher is giving you, but also to do research.
Okay, Mr. Pacific, what's your viewpoints concerning English teaching methods in Congolese schools? I repeat, what's your viewpoints concerning English teaching methods in Congolese schools?
Yes, thank you for this question, Mr. Mike. I think this
I don't
is
say Congolese, I say Congolese.
Congolese.
Because I've chosen
That's
this.
how you have
Congolese
chosen.
school.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yes.
Not Congolese, but Congolese.
Yes.
Okay, and I think this is a very important question. Today, we have to reform many things in our teaching methods, English teaching methods. And there are also many teachers, I don't read, no polemic. There are many teachers from schools, Congolese schools, they are unable to teach English. We don't reform. We don't do anything. You can find a pupil, I don't know, maybe in sixth form, who's unable to know even one verb. I know what I'm saying because I was also one of the teachers in schools. By myself, I say that I have to resign because they brought a teacher there who is unable to teach English, and they say that we have to be together. And I tried to converse with the man. I felt that he had no level, and he said that he graduates from UPN, and we have to change the method. The method today is not only grammatical structures. The method is not only the teacher is there to transmit. No. We have to consider that English is a language, and learning a language is first of all getting into interaction with people, getting into interaction with the people with whom you're together in the class. It's very important. I think there are so many elements that make today people don't happen to speak English. First of all, the teacher. We have to reform teachers. There are many teachers today, they don't speak English well. They don't happen to speak English anymore.
Don't have the maths.
They don't have, yes. Because what's the profile of a teacher? What is the portrait of the teacher? Because I know many people today following us, they are going to say, no, Mr. Pacific is saying so because he's from Sanders and so on, patati patata. No, but today people have to know that learning English, there's no stop. You can be a teacher, you have to learn. You are an everlasting learner. But this is not what people do in schools. A teacher is coming with copybooks of 1993. Is coming with copybooks, and a teacher who doesn't know mechanical English technique is very difficult for him. I don't know. I think reform, first of all, teachers, young teachers.
Mr. Pacific, please. During last vacation, I was teaching newcomers. I was explaining them the present continuous tense. I said this in given structure. It's subjects plus be plus verb plus ing plus objects. And one of my students told me, Mr. Mike, you know, at school our teachers told us that we can also use the verb to have in the present continuous tense. It means what? Subjects plus have plus verb plus ing. I said, wow, astonished. You see?
Oh, Mr. Mike.
Astonished. That's the reason why you come from saying here, you just spoke near that we have to reform teachers.
Exactly. The reform is very important because my regret is that fathers don't consider young people. They don't consider because you are very young. They think that you are not able to do anything. Experience, of course, yes. But what is important first is intelligence.
Yes.
I heard someone saying courage. Courage, yeah, of course, yes, courage. But what is important is intelligence. And I think Makar Mwangu, our Minister of Education, should care about it. It's very important to reform not only teachers of English, but also some professors of other classes such as geography, history, and so on.
So, Mr. Pacific, it seems the same, but what's the main concern? You see, I need to speak about how can you define a teacher of English? How can you define what are qualities that a teacher can possess?
Exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. Very interesting question. What is the portrait of a teacher? What is the profile of a teacher? A teacher is, first of all, an everlasting learner. Everlasting learner. It means someone who learns and learns over and over again. Learning for a teacher doesn't have any hand. This is the first thing. And the second profile is a teacher is the master. Who is a master? A master is someone who is considered knowing the four corners of English. Nobody knows the four corners of English, of course, yes. Nobody has the monopoly. But teachers should be considered as people who have the monopoly of English when they are with students. There's a polemic today. And this polemic is students think that teachers, they are not able to teach them. This is a problem. Because a professor, a teacher is a god. A teacher is a king. A teacher is someone that consider that we say Nchumpara. Who is Nchumpara? Nchumpara is the one who you think that you can find everything when it's there. This is how students, pupils should consider teachers. And another thing is that a teacher is someone who is able, capable of transmitting the matters. You can know, you can have knowledge, of course, yes, but if you don't have abilities of transmitting the matter, this is a problem. And there are many teachers today, even professors of university, they have some trouble transmitting the matter.
Yes.
They know, of course, yes, but giving what they know to others, it's a problem. And a teacher should be a communicator. Yes, and it's very important, I think.
All right. Sometimes it astonished. They are teaching us in French, primary school, secondary school, university, in French. You see, but what is astonished after having finished, after having completed the studies? Once you go to look for the job, they ask you, do you speak English? Do you have knowledge in computer science? Do you see? Is it the main concern? Why not teaching us in English since primary school until the end?
Okay, this is what the government could not understand before, but I think today the government has understood that they didn't install something that was very important for them. And I think today in many schools from primary they tolerate teachers, they can teach, but there's no program. This is the problem. Until now there's no national program for primary school, but there are some teachers teaching informally and so on. But I think English is very important for us and for French-speaking countries, because when you go abroad, you can find many people in English-speaking countries, they speak French. And I think what we should do today, when you can graduate, you can undergraduate, you can have many diplomas. When you neglect English, it's going to catch you.
It means you can lose the job.
Yeah, you can miss a good job. Yes. You can miss a good opportunity. You miss out a good opportunity of a job. You know, learning now. Even myself, I consider that I'm young. I can learn management of affairs. I can learn computer science. I can learn I don't know what restoration and so on. You know, because we have time. English and computer science today are the two basic keys of having easily a job. If you want, you accept.
Yes.
By hook, by crook, I think the two basic elements are
It
there.
depends on you. Mr. Pacific, say something about DDLC.
The Dediland Land Center, our alma mater, because we love you so much. The Dediland Land Center is a center in Salongo Quarter, and you know, we teach English over there. There are many people who are teachers there. We have Mr. Jun Manda, he's our general manager. We have Mr. Aduka Bongo, he's the financial director. We have Mr. Mira Kadima, he's the workaholic of the center. And we also have Mr. Chico Ibongo, Mr. Richard Bea, and all the students. I greet you. I greet third level students, you know. You are my hope. You are the hope of the center. And when I see you, I laugh. And I'm very happy to be together with you, Mr. Mike, today.
We have to give you the last word, okay? Say something. What can you say about the center, about your classmate?
So what I'm gonna say is our center, the Lady Down Learn Center, is a place where you can learn a real American English. Because I'm there, I know the realities on the way we're learning, the way we're practicing with teachers. The English we speak there is a real American English. So as an advice that I can give to people who are following.
This is the way you're saying, because you're learning English over there. It's not the way you're
No,
people.
it's not only that. I try to compare, I try to make research in English. And when I try to talk with some other people, myself, I realize that the English that we speak at the Lady Downland Center is an American one. It's a real American one.
Thank you very much. I need to make you in touch, in motion, that we were speaking about the impact of English. And I have received for you Mr. Pacific. Mr. Pacific is an assistant, first of all, at ULK. He's also a teacher at the Lady Downland Center, in short, DDLC. And Mr. Pacific has brought one DDLC student. I congratulate you, students. First of all, you are courageous, you are brave. Even the way you're speaking, you are so calm, so quiet. So I congratulate you, okay?
Yeah,
this is the good way you're speaking. Don't impress people speaking in in disorder. You see, it's not interesting. This is the way of helping people to get by. Thank you very much, our viewers. I think we are going to meet next time at the same day Goodbye. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.